Hi everyone! In my previous video, I have shown you simple examples of my favorite Excel formula, SumIf, which had allowed me to become more efficient and effective at work by eliminating the need to do sorting, copy-pasting, and cut and pasting. If you haven't heard about the SumIf formula before, I recommend that you watch that video first. Now, if you are already familiar with the SumIf formula, then keep on watching, as in this video, I will show you a more complex example to illustrate the powerful ways that we can leverage SumIf formula to create a consolidated report quickly and efficiently. Now, let's review our case study together. You have been given monthly data of various country sales like this.
This is our monthly report, January, February, March, etc. This is sales by month for each countries, which is grouped by regions, and each report is showing the month as well as same month last year and year-on-year difference and the percentage growth year-on-year.
Your job is to consolidate all the reports to produce year-to-date information on a monthly basis. In other words, in September, you have to produce September year-to-date reports. And in October, you have to produce an October year-to-date reports. Your boss sends you the various monthly reports and asks you to get started immediately, as he'd like to see the report consolidated first thing in the morning. Now, how long do you think you'll need to complete this task? Before you answer the question, please note there is a slight complexity.
So this is our slide complexity. In January, we have 3 regions: North Asia, East Asia, and South Asia. In July, we have a new region, which is Central Asia, and we have China that used to be part of North Asia, now becoming Central Asia, and then Taiwan, Laos, and Hong Kong that used to be part of East Asia is now part of Central Asia. So there has been movement of countries from one region to another region. And in the month of October, we have a new country, North Korea, coming into the picture. So this is the slight complexity to be considered.
So how long do you think you'll need to complete this task to produce something that looks like this?
Sales by countries, grouped into regions, that is showing month to date and year to date in that purple section. And if you change the month, for example, to October, that shows you October year to date, this year and last year, which is the sum of sales from January until October. And if you change it to November, that will update itself.
In this tutorial, I will show you the secret to accomplish this task step by step.
Alright, so let's get started. I want to start by consolidating all sales into one page. And let's get the latest list from December, Control C, and put them here. And let's put all the country, just highlight them, Control C, and just put them in here, Control V. Yeah. Alright, now after you have done that, then you can do a simple SumIf and get the January 2019 from January sales and say if that column is equal to the countries, Japan in this instance, then sum January 19 column, which is column E. Now, so notice how that picks up Japan 80.7 million, which is not in the first row but in the second row, 80.7 million. And let's put some $sign in column B, because we are going to drag the formula to the right and we want to always reference that column. Yeah. And that as well, and that as well. Yeah. So putting a dollar means we want to freeze that column. So we want to freeze column B in here, and we want to freeze column B and column E in there as we are dragging to the right and down. So let's just drag down first. That's good. And let's put the total in there. And then to the right. Yep. Then let's replace the January in that formula with February month. Yeah. Control F, replace Jan with Feb. And then let's do the same thing. Replace Jan with March. And we're done. So let's just do a quick check. December 19 is 520. That's 520. Now let's copy everything into the January 20 until December 20 column, because we want to get 2020 in column D. 2019 data was in column E. So all we need to do is replace column E with column D. So we're going to do Control F, click replace column E with column D. And we have just collected all 2020. Let's do a quick check. January 2020 is 522, and that's exactly the same, which is great. So that's step 1 done. Step 2 is to create this calculator of year to date and month to date, so that we can then do a SumIf and fill in the month to date section in here and year to date section in there, which should change dynamically when we change the month in here. Yeah. Okay, let's do it step by step. First, let's get the month to date this year. So at the moment the default is December. So what we want is, if that is equal to December, I want 1. If not, 0. Yeah. And let's freeze B2 by pressing F4, so that then we can drag to the left, and I should see all 0 except December. And if I change that to January, I want to see 1 in there, and everything is 0. Yeah. So that's for month to date this year. Yeah. Let's put a $sign in there, so that we can recycle this for year to date this year. Because for year to date, the formula is exactly the same, except we want to put equal to or less than. Yeah. Control C, Control V. So if we have February in there, January and February should be marked with 1 and 1. And that's year to date this year and month to date this year. For last year, what we want is something linked to this year, because they are exactly the same. So you don't have to repeat the slightly complicated SumIf formula. You can just link it. Yeah. And that's last year's column. So when that's February 20 selected, last year is February 2019. And for year to date, that's the relevant one. Why do we want that? We want that marker or calculator up there, so that we can fill in this column, the month to date calculation and year to date calculation on the right. So we are going to write a SumIf. If that row is equal to 1, then we want to get the sales. Yeah. So 86.1, it should be the same as February value, which is 86.1. Now we're going to drag this formula down and to the right. So let's freeze the column that should not change, which is month to date this year. So that should be marked with a $sign. And then for last year, press F2 so you can see the formula. You want that to be tagged to the year to date marker. Yeah, so I'm changing it to be linked to row 6 by dragging the box. And then for year on year difference, it's just one this year minus last year. And then for the, okay, let's fix the format to make it nice. Format cell, let's put million as a, okay, oops. And then that's, why is last year so big? Oh, that's because this is year to date. So last year should be, month to date last year should be that. Okay, now we are right. Okay, so it's good. Oops, what's that? That's, nothing is there. So let's fix the formula by writing if error. Okay, nice. Yeah. Then copy, Control C, put it there. Year to date this year, so it should be drag up there. Year to date last year, up there. It's perfect. And then that's done. So we are done for up to step number 2. Let's move on to the next step, which is creating a dashboard that can be updated dynamically. Okay, let's start by copying the latest classification from December. Control C and paste it here, Control V. And then let's bring in the sales by using SumIf. So if that country is equal to that, then we want to bring in that. And we are going to drag that to the right. So let's freeze the column that is meant to be frozen. Oops. And we don't want that to be frozen. So that's it. Oops, one more time. Because we want to pick up everything. We want that to be percentage. Yeah. Great. So now we have everything. So now we can copy down. Okay. Now as you can see, the regions are still blank. That's blank because there is no regions in here except that, which we're going to delete shortly, and there is nothing, you know, on that side for that regions. So we need to put the region mapping in here. So North Asia is that first trigon. Let's just type it up. That's North Asia. Central Asia is up to Hong Kong. And then East Asia is up to Singapore. And then lastly is South Asia. Let's just tidy up the format. Now, it's still blank in here. Why is that? Because our SumIf refer to column B, which is the country column, not column A. So what we need to do is we need to change that to look at column A. Like that. So let's do Control F, replace column A. Oops. With column. Sorry, wrong. Replace column B with column A. With A. And once that's done, let's format it nicely. Oops. Okay. And put the lines there, and then let's copy that. Okay, that total sales is still blank. Why? Oh, that's because I'm calling it total in here. So let's just rename that as total. Now we've got everything. Yep. So let's do a quick check. That plus that plus that plus that need to equal to 524.7. That's great. So let's do a quick check. And just yeah, and then if equal to 0, it's okay. If not, oops, it's error. And that's just rounding, so don't worry about that. So that's our little check that we have developed. And we don't want it to be visible for other people, we can hide that by grouping. Group, and done. Last step is to create the drop-down box. And we want that to be selectable using a drop-down. So let's highlight the rows and let's call it months, which has been done earlier, but I'll just do it one more time. So you highlight it and call it months, and then in here you go to data. Where is my data validation? Here it is, data validation, and then click allow list source equal to months. Yeah. And now all the months pop up. You can see January. Oops, but the format is not good. Yeah, so format cells. Just pick a neat month format. Let's find month. That one in here. That one. Yeah. Click OK. Now you can select month. Yeah. Oh, why is that not changing? Because we have not linked it to this dashboard in here. So that selected month need to be linked to our practice dashboard in front. Yeah. So that when we change it to January, that's January. When we change it to March, that's March. When we change it to December, that's December. And we are done. So it has taken us approximately 15 minutes to get everything completed from the beginning till the end. And that's relatively quick in comparison to what I used to take. The time that I used to take to perform this task was practically all day and all night, because without SumIf, when you have to do things manually, copy and pasting, it takes a long time, and sometimes you can make an error when you are sorting and copying and pasting. And the beauty about this is, if there is a new set of data, all you need to do is just put the new data sets in here. It really doesn't matter what the order. Say for example, we've got Japan in the first row in here, and we have China in the first row in here. Our SumIf formula is able to recognize the country sales regardless of the order of the sales. That's the beauty of using SumIf. Because we set it up with country mapping, it really doesn't matter if there is going to be a new regions being set up. For example, if someone says they're going to group Indonesia and Singapore as East Asia, or I should say Southeast Asia. Yeah. And if we go back to the front, now we can see there is a lot of error in here because we don't have Southeast Asia, because Indonesia and Singapore is still in East Asia. But let me show you how easy it is to fix that. All we need to do is just copy, Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, and delete Indonesia and Singapore from East Asia and create Southeast Asia. And of course, our check need to be fixed so that it adds the new region, which is Southeast Asia. Now we're back to OK. And that's the beauty of using SumIf. You can quickly update your dashboard if there is any changes.
Hope you enjoyed this video and get something out of it, and I'll see you next time.